Janakalyane niratam karunamayam namami chinmayam devam sadgurum brahmavidvaram. Hari Om. So we are trying to understand background of this entire philosophical system. So we saw that Indian philosophy is known as Darshanam. Why it is called Darshana? What are the similarities of this entire system? What are the basics of Indian philosophy? Just because if you just want to understand the basics itself, it will take days together. Okay, just at least some names, like how vast is this system. So we saw that there are different systems in Indian philosophy, Bharatiya Darshanam, and we heard that there are 6 main schools in Astika Darshana, which are the Nyaya and Vaisheshika, Sankhya and Yoga, Purvamimamsa and Uttaramimamsa. Here in Purvamimamsa and Uttaramimamsa, the word Mimamsa is common. So we saw what is the meaning of Mimamsa also. Mimamsa means Pujaniya Vicharaha, contemplation, deep contemplation on honorable topics or revered topics. Why this word? So other words are like Nyaya, Vaisheshika, etc. Here it is Mimamsa, separated as Purva and Uttara. So now why these two darshanas are unique? Because both of these two darshanas are based on Veda. Nyaya, Sankhya, Yoga, they all have some connection with Veda, but the Mimamsa is based on Veda. That's the difference. So Mimamsa Shastra is based on Vedic wisdom. We know the word Veda. You know what is Veda? Vedaha means Vedayati iti Vedaha. The word Veda comes from a root in Sanskrit. Vid means to know. So Vida is a dhatu, is the root from where the word Veda is coiled. So what is the meaning of Veda? Means to know. Means to know. Alaukikam upayam. Not there are many means to know, but this is something which is sacred means to know some topics. So about Dharma, about Brahman, about the supreme reality. So Veda is that which help us to know Dharma and Brahma. Dharma Brahmani, Veda eva pramana. What is Dharma? What is Brahman? In this, Veda alone is pramana, not pratyaksha, not anumana. Okay? Now, in the Veda, when we say that Vedas, we know that there are 4 Vedas, etc. But in each Vedic philosophy, Vedic content can be divided into 4. In Veda, there are four segments, 4 portions. First one is known as Samhita. Second is known as Brahmanam. Third is known as Aranyaka. And fourth is known as Upanishad. In Vedas, there are 4 portions: Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyakam, and Upanishad. So, these 2 are known as Purva And these two are known as Uttara. So now you say, what is Purva Mimamsa? Purva Mimamsa is the discussion about the earlier part of the Veda, Samhita and Brahmana. What is Uttara Mimamsa? That which is a discussion of Uttara Bhaga. Uttara Bhaga is Aranyaka and Upanishad. So what is that, what are the content of this Samhita and Brahmana? The Samhita and Brahmana is talking about many, many things. But one is Dharma, another is Karma. That's why the Samhita and Brahmana together is known as Karma Mimamsa or Karma Kanda. You hear this word Karma Kanda, Lot of times you hear the word Karma Kanda, and we think that doing some puja is Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda means all that which is related to the Purva Bhaga of Veda, that which is related to Samhita and Brahmana. What is the main topic there? The main topic of Samhita and Brahmana is a comfortable life, here and hereafter. How can we live a comfortable, full life here? In order to live a comfortable, full life here, we need Dharma, Artha and Kama. So how can we fulfill Dharma, Artha and Kama is the topic of Purva Kanda. So Karma Kanda means all that means which will help us to have a dharmic life, which will help us to have Artha and Kama. That's why Karma Kanda is filled with different kinds of rituals. Suppose there is a person who has no children, then there is Putrakameshti. Dasharatha, there was no children, so Dasharatha performed Putrakameshti. And then he got children. So you want children, you want wealth, you want power, you want, whatever you want to go to heavens, Surga. So all that, which are the desires of the people, will be fulfilled through Karma Kanda, which is the former part of Veda, includes Samhita and Brahmana. Samhita means collection of mantra. Brahmana means application of that mantra. Okay, now there are different mantras. There is, let us say, there's a sukta known as Ayushya Sukta. Have you heard about it? Ayushya Sukta, Bhagya Sukta, Purusha Sukta, Shri Sukta, Durga Sukta, Medha Sukta. These are all suktams which is part of the Samhita. Now, how can you apply that? See, you want to have a long, healthy life. Now, everybody wants a long, healthy life. Now, the mantra is there in the Samhita part. But how to use that mantra? With that Ayushya Sukta, you should perform Ayushya Homa. Now, how to perform Ayushya Homa will be there in Brahmana. So it's like theory and practical. So in the college also we study, there's a theory class and a practical class. Okay, so whatever we studied in theory, that we put it in practice through the practicals. Like that, the Samhita is the theory part and Brahmana is the application of those theories. Theory in the sense, the mantras. Okay, so that is the Purva Mimamsa. Purva Mimamsa is focused on Dharma, Artha, Kama. Mainly Dharma, because it is a philosophy, it is more focusing on Dharma. That's why the first sutra of Purva Mimamsa is Adhado Dharma Jitnyasa. Jaiminiya Purva Sutra, the first sutra is Adhato Dharma Jitnyasa. What is Dharma? Okay, so that is the Purva Mimamsa. So Purva Mimamsa is connected with the Samhita and Brahmana portion of Veda, which is focusing on Dharma, Artha and Kama. Now, there is a second portion, a third portion known as Aranyaka. What is Aranyaka? Aranya means jungle, forest. Okay? Actually, the meaning is na rano vartate yatra. Rana. Rana. Na Rana. Ran means war. No, Ranjit. What is the meaning of Ranjit? A person who has won the war. No. So Rana means wars. Na Rana, where there is no wars. So Arana. Arana means a place where there are no wars. There is no fighting. There is no competition. Okay. So Aranyaka is a portion of the Vedas which are talking about upasana. Different types of upasanas. Okay, so the first one, the Samhita and Brahmana put together is known as Karma Kanda. The Aranyaka is known as Upasana Kandaha. Kandaha portion. A portion which is focusing on Upasana. Different kinds of, in Vedic terminology, the Upasana is called as Vidya. So when you hear sometimes like, different types of Vidya, it is not about knowledge, it is more about Upasana. There is Madhu Vidya, Ashwa Vidya, Brahmana, there are different Agni Vidya. There Vidya doesn't mean knowledge, Vidya means Upasana. Okay, so the third portion of the Veda, which is known as Aranyakam, is focusing on Upasana. Okay. Now comes the fourth, which is known as Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda and Jnana Kanda. See, Karma Kanda, when we actually take up different actions in our life and try to fulfill our desires, slowly we understand that only with, all these pleasures of the world, people cannot be happy enough. Karma Kanda gives you a purity. Karmana chitta shuddhi. Why karma is needed? Because karma is not bad. The karma will give us chitta shuddhi, purity of heart. Once our mind is pure, what do you mean by mind is pure? Mind is not distracted. That's the meaning. Suppose we have nothing to drink, nothing to eat, we have not a place to stay, we have so many problems in life. Is it possible for us to meditate? No, not for a common man. We need to first fulfill our basic needs. We need food, we need a place, we need some kind of, stability in life. When there is stability, then the mind is little more, calm in a way. So Karma Kanda help us to have a kind of, chitta shuddhi, purity of heart. But that is not enough. Mind is chitta, is shuddha, but you go and sit in the in illam and try to meditate, it cannot. Because although it is little bit calm, so karmana chitta shuddhi, but we cannot concentrate. Just because, our needs are taken care of, we cannot meditate because the mind is not ready to concentrate. So we have to train our mind to get concentrated. So the upasana help us to concentrate. Karma help us to have chitta shuddhi. Upasana help us to have chitta ekagrata. So the Karma Kanda help us to have chitta shuddhi. And when the chittam is shuddha, upasana, take up different kinds of upasanas, different kinds of spiritual disciplines, that will help us to concentrate. So Karma, Chitta Shuddhi, and Chitta Ekagrata. When a mind is purified and which is trained to concentrate, that mind alone can think about subtle matters of life. Who am I? What is this world? What is the absolute reality? What is the transactional reality? How can I reach there? Is it possible for me to experience that supreme? These thoughts are only possible when our mind is pure and concentrated. Just because mind is pure, it will not. It will go to somewhere else. So, the Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda prepares us for Jnana Kanda. Okay, so Jnana Kanda, which is known as Upanishad. Okay, so as I was telling that day, Upanishad is Vedanta. The Vedanta we are calling, actually what is Vedanta? Vedanta is nothing but Upanishad. Upanishadagam Vakyam. Now, what do we mean by Upanishad? Upanishad is coiled with three words. Upa, Ni, and Sad. Upa, Ni plus Sad. These three words put together is known as Upanishad. Okay, so what is the meaning of Upa? Upa means Upa, near. Samipe, Upa, near. Ni, Nishtaya. When a person is ready to approach a guru, when a person is ready, how can he be ready? By Karmakanda and Jnanakanda. So please don't think that Karmakanda and Jnanakanda are all bad. Karmakanda and Upasana Kanda are all bad or anything. No, they are all needed. You want to become a doctor. Okay? But you cannot just, when you are 5 years old, you cannot go and sit in a medical college because then you don't have to. See, all whatever we studied, whether LKG, UKG, high school, that all actually make us fit for medical education. Like that, Karmakanda and Upasana Kanda actually makes us ready for Jnana Kanda. Okay? Now, so Upa means Samipe. It is not, this Jnanam is not something which can be learned from online or, this has to be, we have to approach a teacher, a guru, who is Shrotriya and Brahmanishta, a person who is a realized master with the right knowledge of scriptures. Now, Upa, Samipe Gattua, Ni, Nishtaya. So, Swamiji, we also came to ashram, not for 10 days, until and unless we realize. Ni means Nishtaya, with firm conviction. When we approach a realized master with firm conviction and dedicate our life for knowing the truth. That is Ni. Suppose if we do these two things, we give up all other things, we approach a teacher and then we dedicate our life, we want to know the truth. That kind of a dedication comes to us, Nishtha. Then the knowledge which is given to us by the Guru, it does three things. Sad. One meaning of sad is to sit. One meaning of sad is to sit. So Upanishad means going near the teacher and sitting down, not running away. Okay? Until and unless we realize we are ready to sit down and listen and contemplate and experience. There is one meaning of sad, sidadi, means to sit. Another meaning of sad is, three meanings are there. Visharana, Gati, Avasadana. The dhatu, the root sad, one meaning is to loosen up. Visharana means to loosen up. See, we have firm conviction that this world is true. We may read books and then, we may say all the world is a Maya, Mithya, etc. But if you get a headache, all our Maya, Mithya will go away. If they say that there is no lunch for today, after 2:30, Maya, Mithya, etc. go away. But this knowledge will start to work on us, and slowly, this knowledge has the capacity to loosen up our clinging attachment with the world, clinging attachment with the body, clinging attachment with this, whatever is seen. So, what is the meaning of Visharana? Loosening up. Okay? We feel that, there is something more. So, once our, our clinging attachment is loosening, then what the Upanishad does, it leads us. That's why Gati. Gati means to lead. Lead to where? To our own true nature. The Upanishads first loosen us up. Our clinging attachments are slowly removed, and then take this ourself to the reality. It leads ourself to the reality. And our sadhana means the end, the destruction of the samsara. All our jnana, all our wrong notions, all our misunderstanding that I am a jiva, I am an identified consciousness, all that will be destroyed forever. It will not come back. So that knowledge which prepares us, leads us, and helps us to experience the supreme reality is known as Upanishad. So what is Upanishad? Once a person is ready, that is very important, and approach the teacher and then understand that the purpose of my life is to experience the truth. Nishtha. Once this happens from our side, and then we start to listen and contemplate, the knowledge will start slowly remove all the wrong notions from our head and lead us through the right path. And we'll be able to experience the supreme reality, which will destroy, which will eliminate all kinds of wrong understandings. And then we will experience the supreme consciousness as our own true self. That science, which does all this Visharana, Gati and Avasadhana, is known as Upanishad. So this Upanishad is Vedanta. So Upanishad is equal to Vedanta. So yesterday's class, last class we were discussing what is Vedanta. Vedanam antaha. Antaha means not the last portion, but the meaning of antaha, the essence. Sarabhutaha arthaha. What is anta? Sarabhutaha arthaha. The essence of the Vedas. So that is, what is that? Upanishad. There were more than 1,100 and plus Upanishads, all lost. Now 120 plus Upanishads are published. Among them, 108 Upanishads are considered as, Pramanika Upanishads. There is one Upanishad which gives us a Muktiko Upanishad. The name of the Upanishad is Muktiko Upanishad. The Muktiko Upanishad talks about 108 Upanishads, which are the base of the Upanishadic Sahitya. Among that 108 Upanishad, 10 Upanishads are known as major Upanishad. Mukhya Upanishad. And Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya has commented on all these 10 Upanishads. So these 10 Upanishads are known as Dasha Upanishad. Dasha, 10. The 10 Upanishads which are the most important Upanishads among 108. Okay, so there are 108 Upanishads. There are more, okay, 120 plus are there, but 108 are considered as the Pramanika Upanishad. Because in this 120 plus, there is one Upanishad known as Allopanishad. The name is Allah, Allahu. No, Allopanishad written by Darashukov. Darashikov? Dara, the elder brother of Aurangzeb. So he has written one Upanishad known as Allopanishad. So counting all that 120, but most of them are not authentic Upanishad. People have written Upanishads. There is a Ramakrishna Upanishad in recent time from Ramakrishna Mission. But that are all okay. You can call anything Upanishad, but they are not. So the real Upanishad or the authentic Upanishads are 108. Okay, so there was one great yogi, Acharya, known as Upanishad Brahma Yogi. He has commented on all these 108 Upanishads. But Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya has commented on 10 Upanishads because they are the Pramanika, the most important Upanishads. Okay, so Dasha Upanishad. So the Vedanta is the entire the palace of Vedanta is standing on 3 pillars. The entire Vedanta, especially Advaita Vedanta, is standing on 3 main pillars. The first pillar is known as Upanishad. And understand, Upanishad is the pillar. Why? Anything which is against Upanishad will not have any value. Anywhere, if the thought flow is according to Upanishad, it can be accepted. If it is against Shruti Smriti Virodhetu, Shrutireva Gidhiyasi. So Shruti is the main pillar, supported by 2 other pillars known as Gita and Brahma Sutra. All these 3 together is known as Prasthanatrayi. Please say the word Prasthanatrayi. So what is Vedanta? Vedanta is that which is that philosophy of Vedas which is revealed through, discussed in Prasthanatrayi. Trayi, collection of 3. Collection of 3 prasthana. What are the 3 prasthanas? One is Shruti prasthana. Second is Smriti prasthana. Third is Nyaya prasthana. Shruti, Smriti and Nyaya. Shruti means what? That which is revealed to us. What is the meaning of Shruti? Jo sune hue hain. Shruti. Shravanat Shrutihi. That which is heard. Heard by whom? By the rishis. What? What they heard? The voice of God. So according to us, Shruti, Veda is not somebody sat down and wrote down. That's known as revealed scriptures, which is given to us from a higher source. So that's why the Upanishad is known as Shruti Prasthana. And according to the Upanishadic understanding, when the Rishi sat down and discussed and brought out a very, those essence of the Upanishad in a student-friendly manner, that is known as Smriti. Smaranat Smriti. What is the meaning of Smriti? Smaranat. That which is discussed. That which is thought over. By whom? By great minds. So there are Smriti. No, the Smritis are those books which are given to us by rishis. Shruti is the book that which is given by the God himself. That's what we believe. And Smriti is that which is given by the great rishis. So, in Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, we accept Bhagavad Gita as Smriti. Okay? So, that's why Gita. And next is Nyaya. What do you mean by Nyaya? Logical thinking. Okay? See, Indian philosophy is very much based on logical thinking. Not that God has said something, just believe. Yes, if you can, very good. But human mind is something which always is doubting, You can ask questions. So, a logical explanation of the concepts has to be done. So, the logical explanation is known as Nyaya. Nyaya, a logical, convincing, a process of discussion. What is truth, what is not truth, how it can be. Now, like that, there is a logical, confrontations, logical discussions that is known as Nyaya Prasthana. So, there are three Prasthanas in Vedanta. Shruti Prasthana, which is a revealed knowledge. Smriti Prasthana, which is a gift from the rishis. And Nyaya Prasthana, which is logical thinking and reasoning. So, the logical thinking and reasoning, Nyaya Prasthana is known as Brahma Sutram. Smriti Prasthana is Gita Ji. And Shruti Prasthana is Upanishad. All put together is the Vedanta Shastra. So all this put together is known as Jnana Kandam. Kanda means portion. A portion where the karma, dharma is discussed is known as Karma Kanda. Upasana is discussed is known as Upasana Kanda. Jnanam is discussed is known as Jnana Kanda. Is that much clear? Okay. Now, what do you mean by Jnana Kanda? Jnana Kanda, there are three types of knowledge. We believe that there are three types of knowledge. One, known as Pratyaksha Jnana. Pratyaksha Jnana. Second is Paroksha Jnana. Third is Aparoksha Jnana. There are three types of knowledge according to Vedantic tradition. One is Pratyaksha Jnana. What do you mean by Pratyaksha Jnana? The knowledge which is perceived through senses. Not only see, what we can hear, what we can smell, what we can touch. So, Indriya Janyam Jnanam Pratyaksha. The word comes from Prati plus Aksha. Pratyaksha. How to split Pratyaksha? Prati plus Aksha. Aksha means Indriya, senses. So, Pratyaksha means that knowledge which is perceived through senses, ears and nose and even the mind. So, it is known as Pratyaksham Jnanam. So, this is a pen. This is a pen. This jnana comes from Pratyaksha Jnana. Okay? It is hot, it is cold, it is sweet, it is sour. These all are Pratyaksha Jnana because it's coming directly from the sensual perceptions. So, sensual perception, that knowledge which is arising from sensual perceptions is known as Pratyaksha Jnana. Okay. Now comes Paroksha Jnana. Do you believe that there is a land named Australia? Yeah. How many of you have gone to Australia? Okay. So other than these two, for all of us, we do believe, no, there is a land known as Australia. Why? What kind of, for them, for both of them, Australia is a pratyaksha jnana, because they have experienced it through their senses. For us, we have not experienced it through senses. We know that because they told us. We know that there is a country named Australia, not from direct perception, but indirect perceptions. Okay, so what do you mean by indirect perception? There are different ways. One is known as aptavakya. Aptavakya means the words of a wise man. Like both of them are wise men for us because they have experienced it. Now they have experienced it and then they tell us, those people who have apta, those people whom we can believe. Such people tell us that there is something like this and we take it as truth. That is known as aptavakya. So what is paroksha jnana? That knowledge which comes from the knowledge of somebody else. So aptavakyam is what we understand is actually not only aptavakya and shastra. Sat shastra. We do believe that there are atoms. Do you believe? Atoms are there. Do you believe? Okay, if you don't believe, then I have. So, if you believe, how have you seen atoms? You have seen. So, atoms is not something which can be seen by the indriyas. Okay, so then how we'll know that atoms are there? That is from Shastra. That is from the science. You know, the science tells us many things and we accept it as knowledge. So that is known as Shastra. So Shastra, Aptavakya, they are all gives us different types of knowledge that is known as Paroksha Jnana. Okay? And there are many other ways also, like Anumana, etc. What is Anumana, etc.? Inference. Anumana means inference. You see, you are sitting here and you see some smoke is rising from some place. By seeing the smoke, we infer that there is fire. Have you seen fire? No. We only saw the smoke. But seeing the smoke, we know that there is fire. So this is known as inference. And then when you go to a place, you see that somebody who is very much like your friend is there standing there. You go to that place and that person and ask, are you, Amal's brother? He says, yes. How you know? How? That is known as upamana. Because of the sadrisya. So like that, there are many, many, many ways to have paroksha jnana. Paroksha jnana means that knowledge which is not perceived by indriya. Okay? There is no lion here. Can you believe? Yes. How? So the absence of lion is not seen by the pratyaksha. It is known as abhava. So anyhow, so these are all coming from paroksha jnana. Now comes a very interesting known as aparoksha jnana. What do you mean by aparoksha jnana? You are there or I am there. Think about it. Close your eyes. I am there. I am there means not me, you, each one of us. Each one of us are there. Do you have any doubt? You have a doubt that you are there? No. How? Think about how you know that you are there. See, I am there. To see me, you need eyes and all that. But to know that you are there, you do not need any pratyaksha or paroksha. Not that I have to tell you, you are there, you are there. No. You don't need your indriyas also. So then how you know that you are there? not senses, because senses cannot know, So when you go to deep sleep also, you know that you are there. Subconscious. So that is known as aparoksha. Aparoksha means na paroksha, that which is not a secondary knowledge. What do you mean by a secondary knowledge? A knowledge which is coming from a secondary source. Even the indriya is a secondary source. So there are some knowledge which is not coming from a secondary source, which is direct, and you cannot say perception, direct experience. I am there. For there, you do not need any secondary source of knowledge. So that is known as aparoksha jnana. Now, all of us has this aparoksha jnana that aham asmi, I am there. But who am I? Not clear. Who am I? Sometimes we think we are X or Y or Z, and afterwards we change. A person was thinking that he is a man for a long time, 20 years. Then he decided, I want to be a woman. Now I am a woman. No. So that is all belongs to the body and mind and all that. Beyond the body, mind and intellect, there is something which is unchangeable. There is something which was not a boy, which was not a girl, not a young man or an old man or old person. There is something which is continuously there with us. In our youthhood, in our old age, there is something aham, which is devoid of, different from, beyond body, mind and intellect. Who am I? Who is that? Okay, so that knowledge is really known as aparoksha jnana. The real, true understanding of ourselves. Now, what is jnana kanda? Jnana kanda is that which helps us to experience this aparoksha jnana. Jnana kanda helps us to go beyond all our wrong identifications and really help us to know who I am in reality.
Why is it not called aparoksha kanda?
This entire thing is jnana kanda. See, jnana means, kanda means a portion. Okay, so pratyaksha is also jnanam. So this is a jnanam. Okay, this is a pen. So if you say it is aparoksha kanda, then this pratyaksha and paroksha will be discarded. So pratyaksha, paroksha and aparoksha together is known as jnana kanda. Jnana kanda means a portion which is helping us to know, not only about Atma. Jnana kanda means that which helps us to know what? About the world, about the things, everything. But the essence of jnana kanda is aparoksha. So the pratyaksha, anumana, paroksha, this all will slowly help us to know the true self. So we came to that again, back to the word Vedanta. So Vedanta, what is Vedanta Shastra? Vedanta Shastra is that which helps us to achieve aparoksha anubhuti. That aparoksha jnana is known as aparoksha anubhuti. What do you mean by anubhuti? Direct experience. So aparoksha anubhuti means, so what is Vedanta Shastra? Vedanta Shastra is that Shastra, takes our hand and slowly leads us to the direct experience of our true nature. Yatharth mein kaun hu? I think that I am a man, I am a woman, I am a brahmachari, I am a sannyasi, I am a grihastha, I am a, so many things. But that all will go. Once the body falls, then all these things are not there. So what is that? Who am I really? So the Vedanta is that Shastra which helps us to have the direct experience of our true nature, devoid of all these names and forms. Okay.
Awareness we called as approach.
Yeah. See, awareness about what? So, see, you are aware of the world, isn't it? The awareness of the world is not aparoksha. It can be pratyaksha also, it can be anumana also. The awareness of our true nature is known as aparoksha. Now, about whom I am really. See, when you think that I am body, suppose I think that I am this body, that is not aparoksha, that is pratyaksha. I can see my body and I think this is me. That is, it is pratyaksha anubhava. Understood? So, aparoksha is helping us going beyond the limitations, going beyond the borders, which actually release us from all kinds of bondages. Bondage comes because we are identified with body, mind and intellect, and aparokshanubhuti is something which releases us, which is known as moksha, kaivalya moksha in Vedanta. So what is Vedanta? Vedanta Shastra is the tool which helps us to realize our true nature and be free. So that's why yesterday I was telling Vidyaya Vindate Amrutam. So the Vedanta Shastra is that which will give us that Amrutanubhuti, the eternal, that experience which will never die, which will never get destroyed. Okay? Okay. So, now Vedanta Shastra, we are coming back to the Vedanta Shastra. In Vedanta Shastra, there are two types of texts. One is known as Shastra, another is known as Prakarana. Vedanta Shastra. We are not talking about the textual studies of the Vedanta. Okay? So Vedanta, in Vedanta, the Vedantic textbooks can be divided into two types. One is known as Vedanta Shastra. So as I already told you, Vedanta Shastra means three sets of books. What we call that? Prasthanatrayi. Okay, what are they? One, Upanishads, Gita, and Brahma Sutra. So Upanishads are from the Veda, which is from the Veda which is revealed. That's what we believe. Gita is from Srimad Bharata, and Brahma Sutra is composed by Veda Vyasa. Okay, there are 555 sutras. 555 sutras in 4 chapters. So, the collection of these 555 sutras is known as Brahma Sutra. Brahmanaha Sutram, that which directs, indicate the supreme reality. That's why it's known as Brahma Sutra by Veda Vyasa. And Gita is also by Veda Vyasa in a way. Upanishads are from the Vedas directly. Okay? Now, in this Vedanta Shastra, in this Upanishad, Gita, Brahma Sutram, etc., there are bhashyam. What do you mean by bhashyam? In English, we use the word commentary. Okay? Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya has wrote commentaries on Upanishad, Gita and Brahma Sutra. So, the original text, Upanishad, Gita and Brahma Sutra, along with the commentaries of Shankara, is known as Vedanta Shastra. Okay? Now, on this bhashyam, there's a great Acharya known as Anandagiri. he has written Tika, Anandagiri. Anandagiri Acharya wrote Tika. Tika means what? Notes. There are some words which we may not understand in Bhashya. So he writes notes on the Tika. On this Tika, there are many, many Acharyas who are, see, as the time pass, our buddhi becoming, is not becoming, is becoming more and more, because we are not, nowadays, 50 years back, 100 years back, when we are talking to a audience, when we use many words, they understand. But now we cannot understand. After 200 years, we do not know what is will be a thing. So, in order to explain the words of the Bhashyakara and Tikakara, Acharyas has written Tippani. Tippani means extensive notes on Tika and Bhashya. Okay. Now, there are Vartikam. Acharyas has written Uktam, Anuktam, Duruktam. What is said in the Bhashya, what is not said in the Bhashya. If there are any corrections in the Bhashya, these are all written by Acharyas. They are known as Vartika. Sureshwara Acharya is the Vartikakara of Vedanta. And there are Vivaranam. See, these are all different types of explanations on Upanishad, Gita and Brahma Sutra. So, Upanishad, Gita, Brahma Sutra, on that, Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya has composed Bhashya. On Bhashya, according to Bhashya, in order to make it more comprehensible by us, the Anandagiri Acharya wrote Tikas, different Acharyas wrote Tippanis on that, and then Sureshwara Acharya wrote Vartika and Vivarana. Like that, the Vedanta Shastra itself is a very extensive, you can fill one library only with Vedanta Shastra. Okay, so these are all based on Prasthanatrayi, the original text. Now, Shankaracharya and other acharyas understood, if these people enter into this Bhashya, into the Upanishad, Gita and Brahma Sutra, it will be very difficult for them to understand. So, Acharya started to write independent works. Independent means they are not like, this a Bhashya or a Tika on this Prasthanatrayi, but those works which will help us to understand what is said in the Vedanta Bhashya. See, when we are studying in school, etc., we had textbooks. On textbooks, we used to have guides. Do you use guides to understand like that? So there are books, Vedanta Shastra, but then we need books. People need, the people who are entering into the field of Vedanta, they need explanatory books, guides. Those books are known as Prakarana Grantha. Prakarana Grantha. What is the word? Prakarana Grantha. So what is Prakarana Grantha? Prakarana Granthas are guides which help us to understand the Vedantic principles in a better way, in a more student-friendly way. So what is Prakarana? Prakarshena kriyate. Prakaranam. Plus karanam. Prakarshena kriyate. Kim? Jnanotpadanam. Those books which actually help us to understand the concepts of Vedanta Shastra are known as Prakarana. Okay? The Prakarana Granthas are of two types. One, written by Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya himself. And the other is written by other Acharyas. Like, after the entire Vedanta is divided into three periods. One is Shankara's period, pre-Shankara and post-Shankara. Pre-Shankara means before Shankaracharya. Can you tell me one Acharya who wrote something on Vedanta before Shankara? Vedavyasa himself. Vedavyasa wrote Brahma Sutra and the Bhagavad Gita, etc. So Vedavyasa is a pre-Shankara Vedanti. And have you heard about Gaudapada Acharya? So he was also pre-Shankara, means before Shankaracharya. Please understand, sometimes we use the word the Shankara as the establisher of Vedanta. Please understand, Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya was not establisher of Vedanta. He was the one who brought it back, re-established. Vedanta was there. But because of the time, because of the different religions and philosophies came up, the Vedanta became a very distant thing. Vedanta became people started to forget about it. Shankaracharya brought it back. Bhagavan makes it very clear that I am not the one who is writing all this. He says in his Bhashyas introduction, he says, Ye ime gurubhi purvam padavakya pramanatah vyakhyata sarva vedantaha tebhyo nityam namo namaha. I prostrate to all those great teachers who established Vedanta even before me. Then what are you doing? I am only bringing it back to the understanding of common. Now, so pre-Shankara, Shankara, post-Shankara. After Shankaracharya, many Acharyas came. They also wrote many Prakarana Granthas, introductory works, guidebooks. Okay? But Acharya Shankara himself also composed many Prakarana Granthas. Okay? But among that many Prakarana Granthas, the first Prakarana Grantha in Shankara's own words is known as Tattvabodha. So what is Tattvabodha? The book you have. Do you have this book with you? Yes. What is this book? This book is known as Tattvabodha. It's a book composed by Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya himself. And Tattvabodha is a Prakarana Grantha. Okay, this is the first of Shankara's own writing. I mean, to teach us what Vedanta is. Okay, so Tattvabodha is there, then there is Atmabodha, then there is Viveka Chudamani, then there is Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangraha. There are many works by Bhagavan himself who is introducing the Vedanta to all of us. Now there is, as I said, there are other Acharyas also wrote Prakarana Granthas, okay? Like in that, like in Shankara's school, this is the first book we study. In the another school, they study, there is a book known as Vedanta Sara by Sadananda Acharya. Vedanta Sara, there is one book. And then there is Vedanta Paribhasha. And there is Panchadashi. And there are different hundreds of texts, which is composed by other Acharyas, post-Shankara Acharyas. So we are going to study one tradition known as Adi Shankara's own words, Vedanta through Shankara's own words. So this is the first book known as Tattvabodha. Now, what do you mean by Tattvabodha? Tattvasya bodha. What is the meaning of Tattvabodha? Tattvasya bodha. The awareness, the knowledge of truth. Tattvam the truth, the essence. Tattva is actually God, Paramatma. So Tattvabodha means that which help us to understand the concepts of Vedanta, that which help us to clarify the doubts, that which help us to have a comprehensive understanding of Vedantic principles. So that's why this is the first book of Vedantic studies. This is the first book of Prakarana Grantha known as Tattvabodha. So this book is known as Sabnya Prakarana Grantha. What is the word? Sabnya Prakaranam. Sabnya. Have you heard the word? Sabnya. Sabnya means names, words. Okay. But in Shastra, Sabnya means terminologies. What do you mean by terminology? If you want to master any science, you should have terminology. If you want to study medicine, if you want to study engineering, if you want to do commerce, all those Shastra will have terminologies. There are scientific terms. And if you do not understand those scientific terms, we cannot understand that science. If you do not know what you go and sit, if I go and sit in a computer class, I will be just blank because I don't understand one word what they are talking. Although they may be speaking in English, but I don't understand because the terms, the scientific terms which they are using, I don't understand. Because of that, what happens? I'm not able to understand or comprehend the Shastra. So in order to study any branch of science, whether it is physics, chemistry, health science, any branch of science, we need to learn the terms of that branch of science. For example, you have heard the word guna. Have you heard the word guna? Yes. Now, what is the meaning of guna? So, if somebody asks us what is the meaning of guna, you should ask a question back. That in which field of knowledge? Why? Suppose you are sitting in a Sankhya philosophy class. Guna means sattva, rajas, tamas. Okay, sattva gun, rajo gun, tamo gun. That's the meaning of guna in a Sankhya philosophy class. Suppose you are sitting in a dharma, a law class, then guna means qualities. Sadguna, durguna. Okay, now suppose you are sitting in a Sanskrit grammar class, guna means adeng guna, atta engcha, hraswa akara, a and o. Guna in a grammatical sense, it's a name of 3 letters. Which are they? A, o. That is guna in a grammatical class. So, until we understand, suppose we mean that guna means sattva, rajas, tamas, and then when we go and sit in the grammar class and they are talking to us about guna sandhi. What guna sandhi? How sattva, rajas can be sandhi and guna and all that. So we have to understand the terms and conditions. Without understanding the scientific terms, understanding Shastra is impossible. So Bhagavan Adi Shankara Acharya composed this great book known as Tattvabodha as a Sabnya Prakarana. Means before we enter into the halls of Vedanta, we should know the terms they use in this Shastra. So this is the first book. If anybody want to learn Vedanta in a systematic manner, then we have to start with Tattvabodha. So in this book, we'll find definitions about different terms which we use in this. Okay. So at least let us start the text. You will be wondering, How many classes over? Now you have not even started it. But don't worry, we will finish, okay? Don't worry about it. We'll start. Today just we'll chant and we'll go to page number 8. All of you have this book with you? So in our tradition, any Shastra should be started with Mangalacharan. Okay? Any Shastra, any text should be started with a Mangalacharan. Why? To bring auspiciousness. Anything, we should be able to complete it without any hindrance. We should be able to communicate it well. There are different possibilities of disturbances. There's Adidaivika, Adibhaudika, Adhyatmika, problems can arise. The Mangala Shasana gives us confidence. It helps us to cross over different obstacles. It gives us inspiration. And also it introduces, the subject matter, what we are going to learn here. So we'll just study chant the invocation. I will chant. Please repeat. Page number 8 in this book. Vasudevendra Yogendram Nattva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodha Abhidhiyate. Vasudevendra Yogendram Nattva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodha Abhidhiyate. We chant together. Vasudevendra Yogendram Nattva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodha Abhidhiyate. We'll see the meaning in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.